Hi everyone, welcome to the OA Special Focus 100 Pounder meeting. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of May 2022, and we are delighted to have a fabulous speaker here with us today, Ori B. So Ori came to OA in 2001 and is living in LA. We're so grateful to have you with us, sharing your experience, strength and hope, Ori, today. So over to you.
Can I be heard clearly?
Yes.
Cool. My name is Ori. I'm a compulsive reader, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw up my pics here. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Let's see. All right, can you guys see that? Or wait, can you see this one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my pictures right there. Okay, no. All right. Yeah, that's me. This is me here. This is at my top weight of 400, or this was actually 30 days in the program right here. But my top weight is 485 pounds. And I'm down over 250 pounds now, somewhere around there. I haven't weighed myself in a while. It drives me crazy. So there we go. I had a little bit of fun earlier with Rita because, I was looking at the waiting room and there were a lot of people in the waiting room. And I messaged Rita, who's watching the waiting room? We need to get all these people in. And I said, I want to get as many people in to hear my share as possible. And like, I have to joke about that because because the last time I was on this meeting, I think I was on this meeting when I talked about that my ego needs a 50-person or more rule to share. Like, and I have to share those things because like I'm still a work in progress, and I need to like just puncture a hole in the the great Ori, like I have the great Ori. He needs to have people from far and wide come in here and share. So like I have to talk about those things because it's necessary for my recovery. And then on the other extreme is, oh, look at you're sharing with a bunch of old ladies. Oh, in my mind, you're sharing but with a bunch of old white ladies. Like, wow, whoop-de-doo. That's the other extreme, right? Like that's how my mind works. And not to say that you're all old, I'm sorry, that's not, but this is the stories my mind creates, So yeah, I still have work to do. And I'm about, in July, I'll have July 14th, French Independence Day, Bastille Day, I'll have 6 years of recovery. This round, I'm a relapse survivor. Before this current recovery, I was in relapse for about almost 4 years, and I got up to my highest weight. And it pushed me to the point of wanting to take my own life. I'm a real compulsive reader. They talk about the blackout drunk. They talk about, in the big book that, that guy that shut himself in a barn and he was waiting to die, and that was me. I was a shut in my house, and I didn't want to leave the house. It got really bad. I like to, my story is all over. It's on different podcasts, and with each talk, I like to kind of focus in on a certain area, just to keep it fresh and get current on where I'm at in my life today. And I don't know. I think maybe on the last talk, I may have talked about more about alcoholism, but I'm in more about alcoholism again with a sponsee right now. And each time that I go through the work with a sponsee, one of my goals is to to bring it to life and to bring it to where we're at right now in this moment in today. And when I was reading it with her yesterday, it'll start out with most of us have been unwilling to admit we were real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. And when I read that now, I think about how, for me, the ism, what is the ism? The ism is more, it's not just the substance, right? Because if it was just the substance, um, it wouldn't be so many programs, right? If it was just tied to alcohol, it wouldn't be so many programs, right? This is the way. And look, I'm not any big buck, specialist or anything like that. And there's people who do that. But just for me, the ism is more than just the substance. And specifically, this chapter starts to get into the ism, the mind, right? And for me, like I'm far past the lash of the compulsive overeating piece, but what brings me to that state of powerlessness today is my self-will and how I still want to manage and control my life. I still, if you go back, my sponsor does a great job at puncturing my ego and reminding me when I came in the program, I was 485 pounds. I had no life, absolutely none. I was killing myself. I was literally killing myself. I was living just to eat and I wanted to die. And then you fast forward now till today, and now I have bright ideas of how my life should go. Now, I get into, and it's with many things where it's just like I jump into these things. Okay, let me take control of this thing and let me self-will this into existence because I want it to happen in my life. That still happens, right? The self-will. I'm not fully recovered from self-will. And when I look at this more about alcoholism chapter, how convinced am I that I'm bodily and mentally different in the sense that I can't live like everybody else. I just can't go about living and conducting myself in a manner like I can't conduct myself absent of spiritual principles. That was one of the hardest parts for me to come to acceptance and concede to. And that's the next paragraph. We learned that I had to fully concede to my innermost self that I have the ism, which means that I can't live absent of spiritual principles. And that's a hard one for me to accept because I see other people living absent of spiritual principles with impunity, right? They're just going about their lives. Like, why do I have to live a disciplined life? Like, why do I have to, part of the concession is that I have to practice prayer and meditation. The concession is that I can't just make up the rules when it comes to my life. The concession is that I have to be of service. The concession is that I have to be continuously engaged in inventory and allowing others to check my ideas. Like the concession is that I'm no longer in control of my life. And my life is now about how can I be of service to this creator? And how do I grow in effectiveness to whatever my creator's vision is for me? That's a hard thing. Even at 6 years, like I got in my head that I want to be a husband and a father. Well, guess what? Now I got to jump in there and make it happen. and I will beat, it's just like I jump on the apps and I'm looking around every corner for the right one, right. And it's just like I start to get into this thing of I need to make it happen. It needs to be happening now. And then I find myself, praying to God, like, show me show me how to make this, it's like I'm using God as an ATM machine again. Give me what I want, and this sense of entitlement of, oh, look at all the work that I've done in program and I've lost all the weight and now's the time. I'm 40, I'm about to be 42 and I have a great job. I'm checklists. I'm the great, I'm ready for it. And it's like, give it to me now. Give me what I want. And I've been in that, and this is just one thing, it could be anything. It could be finances. Oh, and now I want to be a millionaire by 50. Okay, now let me jump in there and learn everything about finance, and let me get the financial guy, and let me I gotta now save, and this is what I suffer from. This is the ism, and I have to talk about these things because, and this is just my opinion, I feel like, I hear like people get disillusioned in here. It's just like, okay, once you get past the food, oh, you're cured. No, there's more work to do. And the work is in, getting closer to this higher power. And part of my motivation, again, is coming back to this ism. I still have, um, I still have this thing of wanting more all the time, more. This thing of wanting to control and manage and run my life, looking for the next thing that's going to make me feel whole and complete. That's something that's come into my view and my awareness recently. Is just I still have this void inside. The volume on it is a lot less, but this feeling of just not good enough, and this feeling of this sense of, um, I'm not okay. So I need this to make me feel okay, and I need this to make me feel okay. Um, and all of it is within the boundaries of recovery, right? Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm abstinent. The food doesn't call me, but I still can make myself miserable within this framework. Because the more that I get into these things and chasing whatever it is, the larger that void gets. And what does this have to do with food? Eventually, if I don't talk about that, if I don't be honest about it, if I don't do the work around it, if I don't open myself to grace, I'm eventually going to go back to the food. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I talk to some people and they have this, um, it's like I talk to some people in program and they don't have this, like I have like they almost have this attitude like they're somehow past the point of they're so recovered that the disease the disease isn't there. Like they're so recovered that they can't it's not even it's amazing to me because I still have a healthy fear of it. I am not under any delusion that I that it can't get me still. And honestly, that's what keeps me in the work, because I know it's just as simple as going a few days without meditation, going a few days without talking to somebody, or seeing those the people on the missed calls go to red. And I'll back this up here. talks about, I think it's Jim's story here where he pulls out the slippers after making the decision, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give up the alcohol for a period of time and I'm gonna focus on my business, get my life right. And then he gets to a place where he feels like he's arrived. And then out comes the red slippers. He gets his drink, and then in a short time, he's dead. For me, what that represents is I can get complacent in my recovery. In my men's group, we talk about relaxing the standards of my recovery. That's something that I have to constantly tell on myself about, is how am I relaxing the standards of my recovery? That's my equivalent of pulling out the slippers. And I feel like I'm more I feel like I'm more vulnerable to it because at 6 years, I can easily slide into this thinking of just I can coast now. And there's a lot of life. There are big things happening in life, and that can easily distract me. I'm originally based out of Los Angeles, and right now I'm in Austin, Texas. And this is before I made this trip, I put it out to my community that I need to be consistent on my spiritual actions while I'm on vacation. And it's partly, it's a godsend that I was helping somebody else trying to find a speaker for today who was originally the speaker. And I tried to find other people and they couldn't. I couldn't get anybody for them. They couldn't find anybody. And so in my attempt to help somebody else, I stepped in for them. And, this is perfect being on, because this keeps me in my routine, keeps me showing up, keeps me being of service, keeps me plugged in. So going back to this reading here, again, I'm more and more about alcoholism. It says, despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception, experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic. If anyone who is showing inability to control his drinking can do the right about face and drink like gentlemen, our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. Practicing this out before I came back, when it was starting to, I had gotten out of treatment and it was starting to get really bad. There was just this sense of like, just God, not away. Please, not away. Like is there anything in this world available? Like just not, it was like from my spirit, I was like begging the universe, like, please not away. Like, do I really have to go back there? And what it really was, it's just like this, like, do I really have to live by spiritual principles? Like, do I really have to practice this way of life? Do I really need this design for living? I so want to be normal. I don't want to have to do these things. Not this. Like, nothing in this life is sexy to me, like that. It was nothing, I didn't aspire to live by spiritual principles. Like that was not on my radar. I swear it wasn't. And I tried to prove by every form of experimentation and self-deception that I did not need to live a principled life like this. And it doesn't stop, right? They talk about the road gets narrower. Like things that I could get away with at 1 year, I can't get away with at 6 years. And I'm not just talking about the food. Look, and it's like recovery. This God wants to take everything. It wants everything. It started with the food. Okay, it takes the food. Then it's the cigarettes. Okay, no, the cigarettes gotta go. The coffee, really coffee? Don't take that from me, but I can't sleep. That's the reality. I can't sleep. I'm not drinking it compulsively. It's only 2 cups a day, but you can't sleep. I'm fighting reality. That goes away. Sex, love, and romance. Oh no, please don't. Like, that has to go. That has to be guided too. Like, I can't. I'm on a short leash. I'm on a short spiritual leash. But what do I get? What do I get? I get to take this wonderful trip, and I get to visit friends, and I get freedom. I get freedom to live. I get the opportunity to have a story that helps people's lives.
That's 20 minutes.
I get a community of folks where I'm learning to be loved. I'm learning to love. I get to do things that that were, like I said, some things happen in life, and it's like I didn't even plan that. I get to be a better employee. I get to be a better brother. I get to be a better everything. I get to show up. And sometimes showing up is painful. 2 months ago, I was in a relationship, a crazy, beautiful, wonderful, hurtful, painful, everything relationship with another person, and that ended 2 months ago, just over 2 months ago. We were in and out, and that was painful, and the way it ended was diseased, and but it was also a beautiful experience. It was my first real relationship, so it's just like I get to now participate, and it's all opportunities for applying these principles. Like, every experience is new because I've never lived a life, um in this period. I can truly say that like, every experience I'm learning how to live, and experience anew, because I don't have anything that I'm using at this point in time. um so I guess, what I'll do is I'll open it up, for shares. And I guess I just want to experience that, like, this journey is, at least today, I feel like this journey this is a great thing, man. It really is. I'm like one of the privileged ones. I was selected for this way of life, and it's like God is doing something. God is doing something with me. God is doing something with His life. I'm a paintbrush, and I think there's a bigger plan than whatever I can imagine for myself. Um, and I'm like a child. I'm a child when it comes to, I get so locked in my narrow perspective, and I think the greater consciousness just has a bigger vision. It can see more, and part of my work is just trusting in that and having faith that I'll be guided, having faith that I'll be taken care of. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there and open it up.
Ori, thank you so much. That was such a beautiful message, and just your honesty and vulnerability will have helped so many people today. Just thank you so much for sharing in that beautiful way. In the tradition of the meeting, I'm just going to read something from the big book. This is just something that I felt drawn to when Ore was speaking, and it's out of one of the stories at the back of the big book that's called "It Might Have Been Worse," and it's on page 355. And it says, the obsession of the mind was a little harder to understand, and yet everyone has obsessions of various kinds. The alcoholic has them to an exaggerated degree. Over a period of time, he has built up self-pity and resentments towards anyone or anything that interferes with his drinking. Dishonest thinking, prejudice, ego, antagonism toward anyone and everyone who dares to cross him, vanity and a critical attitude are character defects that gradually creep in and become a part of his life. Living with fear and tension inevitably results in wanting to ease that tension, which alcohol seems to do temporarily. It took me some time to realize that the 12 steps of AA were designed to help correct these defects of character and so help remove the obsession to drink. The 12 steps, which to me are a spiritual way of living, soon meant honest thinking, not wishful thinking, open-mindedness, a willingness to try, and a faith to accept. They meant patience, tolerance, and humility, and above all, the belief that a power greater than myself could help. That power I chose to call God. Thank you.